Hi everybody and welcome to a Grimdark Future Battle Report. DAO Union versus Alien Hives. Lieutenant Armando has no choice but to fly through parts of the unstable Legatos Sector controlled by alien life forms and other fractions. The entire sector is in danger of collapsing, as asteroids and planets already have collided and caused unimaginable destruction. So far, Armando has accomplished salvage missions, but he is running out of time and the small cargo shuttle is in need of critical parts to continue through the sector. He is forced to land on a nearby planet, but as he approaches, he becomes aware that a battle is about to begin. As the DAO Union and alien hives face each other in a desperate fight on the surface, will Armando be able to keep the shuttle flying long enough for the battle to be over? Here we have a top view of the battlefield with 4 objectives and the 2 forces already deployed opposite each other. And in this battle we will use mission cards and we will play total domination. So at the beginning of each round, 3 mission cards will be dealt, and whoever scores the most points from the cards during the 4 rounds of battle will be the winning side. The leader of the alien hives is a fearless prime warrior with a tough value of 6, 2 piercing claws and bio recovery, meaning regeneration. Then a group of 3 hive warriors with 6 razor claws. Then a group of 10 shooter grunts armed with razor claws and bio ravagers. Then we have 3 hive guardians with a tough value of 3 razor claws and heavy ravager guns and the relentless special rules. And then 5 soul snatchers. They are fast and they are armed with 5 piercing claws. Finally, 3 hive swarms with a tough value of 3 and poisonous swarm attacks. Leader of the DAO Union is a grunt leader with a tough value of 3. And he's armed with a pulse carbine. He's a high elder psychic and has a stealth shield drone. Then we have 3 sniper drones with pulse rifles and tasers and a drone controller giving them the snipe ability. We have 5 regular gun drones with regeneration, shred ammo, tasers and twin pulse guns. Then we have another grunt leader with pulse carbine, pulse gun, and he has the volley fire ability. He is joined with a grunt squad group armed with pulse rifles. Then we have 3 battle suits with a tough value of 3. They have bash attack, shoot guns, and shoot flamers, and they all have energy shield giving them the shield wall ability. And finally a group of grunts all armed with pulse rifles except for one who has a burst carbine. Now let's draw the 3 mission cards for the first round. So both armies will try to score. Decapitate the enemy hero with the highest tough value, and control objective number 2, and intimidate enemy units, fail a morale test. And with the mission cards drawn, let's roll off. The DAO Union will use the yellow dice and the alien hives the red dice. The DAO Union will activate first in the first round. And the unit of gun drones immediately advance to control objective 2, one of the missions on the mission cards, and from here they can shoot at the group of hive guardians. They have 10 shots with their twins pulse guns and they will hit on 5s. And if they roll 6, the shot will be rending. And it looks like a couple of the shots here will hit. 3 rending hits and 1 regular hit. So the regular hit will be blocked with a roll of 3. No problems, but they will have to roll 6s, the hive guardians, to block the 3 rending hits, and they fail all of them. And with a tough value of 3, that means 1 hive guardian is killed. The shooter grunts activate next, and they advance and take objective 3. It's not one of the mission objectives, but anyway. And from here, half of them can target the unit of grunts and the grunt leader. And they will need 6s to hit. They have a total of 10 shots. And there will be 3 hits against the group. They have to roll 6s because the group is in cover. The grunts will block with rolls of 4 in defense, and they will block 2 of them but fail 1. So 1 from the grunt squad will be hit and killed. But the group here will immediately react. They advance in cover behind the wall, and then they will fire back at the shooter grunts. They will all hit with rolls of 4, and they fire pulse carbines, a pulse gun, and the grunts will fire pulse rifles. So a few hits here. The leader's 2 pulse carbine shots with AP2 will hit, and 1 pulse rifle with AP1 will also hit the target. Now, the shooter grunts must defend with rolls of 6, and 1 of them will, but 2 will fail, so 2 shooter grunts are eliminated. Now it's time for the Soul Snatchers. They are fast, so they can charge 16 inches, and they also have the Strider special rule, so they will easily jump over the pipes and crates. And that will enable them just to reach the gun drones with a charge. They have 15 piercing claw attacks hitting on 3s. We'll take them in groups of 5. They have AP1 and they are rending. So 6 hits so far, and the final 5 attacks, and 4 of them will hit. 10 hits against the gun drones. So the drones will first attempt to block the rending hits with rolls of 6. And they fail them both, but they have regeneration, self-repair, so they will be able to roll a 5 or a 6 and regenerate 1 of them. Now they will have to come up with 5s to block any of the remaining 8 hits. With 4 block attempts, 1 of them will be blocked here. So 3 more hits coming through, and the final 4 hits, they will block 1 of them, so 3 more hits. And now the drones will have to regenerate a lot of hits to survive this. And they only regenerate 1 out of the 6 hits. That leaves 5 hits coming through, the same as the amount of drones. They will be eliminated right away. And after that devastating attack, the Soul Snatchers will consolidate and seize Objective 2, one of the mission objectives. But now the Soul Snatchers are deep in enemy territory, so the battle suits will fly in with an advance, and they will fire 9 flamer shots and 3 suit guns. They will hit on 4s. 4 flame shots will hit, and the flamers are AP nothing. Now they will fire 3 suit guns, and they will fail all of them. So at the end, 4 hits, and the Soul Snatchers will block with rolls of 4. And 1 of them will be blocked, but 3 Soul Snatchers will be hit and killed. And that means the unit is below half strength. They will have to face a morale test. They will need a 3 to pass, and they easily shake it off with a roll of 6. Still guarding the objective. The Hive warriors activate next. They cannot reach anybody with a charge, and they have no ranged weapons. They move against objective number 4. The Grunt commander takes action. He is a psychic, and he will try to perform a psychic attack against the Soul Snatchers. It's a devastating strike, and he will need a 4. And we'll just roll that one again. And he is successful. A devastating strike targets the enemy with 5 AP1 hits. So now the 2 remaining Soul Snatchers must roll 5s to block the attack. And they fail every single one. With a powerful psychic attack, the Grunt commander blasts the remaining Soul Snatchers out of the way, and Objective 2 is uncontested. Until now, because he moves in and seizes the objective. The Hive swarms activate, and they try to sneak around the flank here to perform a sneaky attack in the next round. So far, they cannot reach anybody or do anything in this round. The 3 sniper drones fly towards Objective 2, and from this position they can target the 2 Hive Guardians. They shoot with a quality of 2 because they are snipers and they have 3 shots. And they hit with all of them. And the rifles are AP1, so they will need force to block, and they fail all 3 hits. So 1 more Hive Guardian is killed. And that leaves the final Guardian with a morale test. But with a quality of 3, the chances are pretty good. But no, the remaining Hive Guardian fails the morale test and is pinned. And that also means the Union forces have scored 1 victory point on the Intimidate mission card, unless the alien Hives can do the same. Immediately after, the Hive Guardian activates and he is no longer pinned. The Hive Warriors approaching Objective 4 are very dangerous to get into close combat, so the final Grunt squad here will attempt to prevent that. They advance and fire all they've got, and they have got 3 shots with a burst carbine and 4 shots with pulse rifles, and they hit with rolls of 4. They are close enough to also seize the objective. And 1 burst carbine shot will hit. It's AP nothing. And then 4 pulse rifles, only 1 hit. That's too bad. It's AP1, and the Hive Warriors will try to block that one first with a roll of 5. And they fail that one, and then the burst carbine shot a roll of 4. So only 1 hit, and that will give a wound to 1 of the Hive Warriors. And as it was not enough, the Prime Warrior moves, rushes the maximum distance, and is now very, very close. And that was the final activation of round number 1. The forces are now closer together and within charging range, most of them. And 1 unit of Soul Snatchers and 1 unit of gun drones were completely eliminated. The DAO Union scored 1 victory point for Seize Objective 2 and 1 victory point for the Intimidate mission card. The Alien Hives will decide to keep the Decapitate mission card, and new cards are Intimidate once again and then Seize Objective 3. Let's go to round number 2. The Union has the first activation of round 2, and they decide to activate the battle suits. They will fly 6 inches, and then they will fire at the shooter grunts, guarding Objective 3. First 3 suit guns, AP1. They will hit on 4, so only 1 hit, and then 9 flamer shots. And they will also hit on 4s, but they are AP nothing. That's not a good performance. 1 hit with suit guns and 3 flamers. With a defense of 5, the shooter grunts will defend the suit gun first and fail that one because of the AP1. And then the 3 flamer shots. They will need 5s. 1 of them is blocked. So they fail a total of 3 shots, and they are hit, and 3 shooter grunts will immediately leave, and that will leave them down to half strength. They will have to make a morale test. And they fail the morale test, so technically they are pinned now and no longer guarding the objective. And that will potentially also earn a victory point to the Union for Intimidate. We'll see about that. Now the Prime Warrior charges into action. No less than 8 piercing claw attacks hitting on 4s. It's AP1 and rending, and already here a couple of 6s. 6 hits with the piercing claws. We'll begin with the rending hits. They will have to come up with 6s to block them. And no blocks, no defense rolls. Already 2 brave Union soldiers killed by the piercing claws. They still have to defend 4 claw attacks. And they will defend with rolls of 5. And they block 2 of them. So 2 more Union grunts are hit and removed, leaving only 1 behind. And he can fight back. He has 1 close combat attack. He will hit on a 5 against the Prime Warrior. Let's see if he can do any damage in return. And he is completely messed up. So the unit is cut down to less than half strength. The Prime Warrior won the battle. So it's a morale test, and if he fails, he is out of here. And he fails. He's had enough. He runs as fast as he can, never to be seen again. And that earns the alien hives 1 victory point for Intimidate. So far, both armies have scored that mission card. But it's time to fire back at the Prime Warrior. The Grunt squad here with 1 Grunt leader will make an advance, and they will fire all they've got at the Prime Warrior. The leader with pulse carbines and a pulse gun, and the squad with pulse rifles. They all hit at 4s. The 1 shot with the pulse gun will hit, and it's rending, and then 3 pulse rifles shots, AP1. The Prime Warrior will defend. First, the pulse gun, and it will need a 6. So that's 1 failed. And then the 3 pulse rifle shots. In that case, it's 5. So that will block 2 of those hits, leaving 2 to go through. So 2 wounds to the Prime Warrior out of 6. And the Prime Warrior will not regenerate any of the 2 wounds. Instead, the Hive swarms will charge, and they will charge against the DAO Union leader. They have 9 swarm attacks, and they will have to roll 6 to hit, but if they do, they will also be poisonous and multiplied with 3. But it seems like they fail all 9 attempts. Incredible. Not a single hit. So the leader will strike back, and he will have an opportunity to win the battle. He only has 1 close combat attack, and he fails that one. So the battle is tied, and the Hive swarm will retreat 1 inch. Under attack, the leader will advance in a completely different direction. From here, he can target the Prime Warrior. First with a psychic attack. He will once again try the devastating strike, and he will need a 4. And this time it fails. No psychic attack. So he fires his 2 pulse carbine shots instead. He will hit with a roll of 4, so that's a success. It's AP1. The Prime Warrior will defend on a roll of 5. So 1 of the shots is blocked. The other 1 hits, and that takes him to 3 wounds. And he will now have to regenerate with a roll of 5 or 6. And it looks like a failed regeneration attempt. 3 wounds now to the Prime Warrior, but it is fearless and will pass the morale test. So next up, the Hive Guardian. Only 1 left in the group, but it can fire 3 shots with the Heavy Ravager gun, hitting on a 3. And it fires against the battle suits. All 3 shots hit the target, and with 1 roll of 6, the Relentless special rule allows 1 more roll, but that one failed. So 3 hits against the battlesuits. It's AP2, so they will have to defend with 5 or more. So 3 defense rolls, and if they fail all of them, that will be enough to take down 1 battlesuit. But there is a roll of 6 here, so 1 of the shots is blocked, 2 wounds to 1 of the battlesuits. The Union makes another attempt to bring down the Prime Warrior. The sniper drones move close to Objective 2 and they fire 3 shots against the Prime Warrior. They will hit with rolls of 2 because of the sniper ability. So 3 shots and they all hit the target. And the Prime Warrior must defend with a roll of 5. The sniper shots are AP1. So 3 rolls of 5. And all of them are completely missed. The Prime Warrior will be hit but regenerate 1 wound, taking it to 5. And this time the morale test fails. So the Prime Warrior here is pinned. And now a mighty close combat battle is underway. The Hive Warriors will pass Objective 3 and they will attack the battlesuits in the back. They have a devastating number of 18 Razor Claws attacks and they will hit on 4s. So the first 9 attacks will give 4 hits and then the remaining 9 and more hits towards the battlesuits. Still need 1 attack. And that was a roll of 1. So in the end, 7 Razor Claws attacks against the battlesuits. And they will now try to defend with rolls of 3. And not all that good. They will fail 4 of the attacks. So 1 battlesuit will leave and another one will take 2 wounds. So they can now fight back with bash attacks against the Hive Warriors, but they will hit absolutely nothing. The battlesuits will lose the battle. And they will fail the morale test as well. But they are still not down to half strength though. Not a good move for the battlesuits. Final activation of round 2, the shooter grunts will activate and they are no longer pinned. So more carnage in round number 2. The DAO Union tried real hard to remove the Prime Warrior and they were so close, but the alien Hive leader is still on the battlefield, as well as most of the other alien units. At the end of the round, the alien Hives controlled Objective Marker 3 and they will score 1 victory point. And both armies managed to fail morale tests, so this card will not be scored. The Union will choose to keep the Decapitate mission card, and then we will draw 2 new. Seize 2 again. Control Objective Marker 2, and mission card number 3 is Show No Mercy. Win a melee by 3 or more wounds, or maybe even by 6 or more wounds. Let's go to the 3rd round. The DAO Union will activate first, and the group here with the leader will fire against the Hive Warriors. The leader first, with 2 pulse carbine shots, and with the volley fire special ability, he has the relentless rule, so the pulse gun shot can be rolled 1 more time, but that one failed. So 1 pulse gun and 1 pulse carbine will hit. Now the remaining pulse rifle shots, they will hit with rolls of 4. 2 more hits against the Hive Warriors. The pulse gun is rending an AP4, but with a roll of 6, they will shake that one off. The rest of the shots are AP1 and they will take rolls of 5 to block. So no further defense rolls. The Hive Warriors will take 3 wounds, and that will take 1 out and leave a second one with 1 remaining wound. But they are not down to half strength. Instead, they charge against the DAO Union commander. They try to take him out and possibly also score the Decapitate mission card. And a lot of attacks. 12 Razor Claws against the commander. And they will hit on 4s. So let's see. And there could be hope for the commander. 4 hits and 5 hits. And the remaining last one is a failed attack. 5 hits against the commander. He will defend with rolls of 4. And he will block 3 of the hits. So he takes 2 wounds and he is still alive. But he has to fight back. And he might lose the battle anyway. Let's see. First he takes 2 wounds. And then he has 1 close combat attack. And he will hit. It's AP nothing. And the Hive warriors will laugh that one off. So the commander is alive, but he will have to pass a morale test, otherwise he is below half strength, and that could have consequences. And with a roll of 3, he will not pass his morale test. He survived, but he had enough. He leaves his army in the worst possible condition at the worst possible time. And the aliens will so far score 2 victory points for Decapitate. Let's see if the Union can do the same. The sniper drones are close to objective 2, but they do not control it because the Hive swarms are also here. But the snipers will fire against the Hive warriors. And even though they hit at 2, 1 shot is missed. But the 2 shots will go through and hit, and that means 1 more Hive warrior is killed, leaving only 1 behind. So now he is below half strength and will have to pass a morale test, otherwise he's pinned. But he will easily pass that one and stay in the battle. Instead, the Hive swarms will attack the sniper drones in the back in an attempt to control objective 2, the mission objective. And they will need 6s, and they have 9 attacks. But for each roll of 6, they will be multiplied with 3 because of the poisonous special rule. So that looks very, very bad for the sniper drones. At the end of the day, the result is 12 poisonous hits. And, well, that leaves the sniper drones with 12 defense rolls, and they have a defense of 4. And as expected, that was just too much. They defend 4 of the attacks, and that is, of course, several more wounds than they can take, and the entire unit of sniper drones will be destroyed. And while the remains of the sniper drones are removed, there is a consequence even worse, because the Hive swarm here won the melee with more than 6 wounds. So possibly they will score 2 victory points for Show No Mercy. The battle suits cannot do anything but get back in the game, and that's what they do. And immediately after, they are under fire again. The Hive Guardian fires 3 shots. 1 of them will hit. It's usually AP 2, but because of the shield wall ability, it's only AP 1, and they will defend with 4. So no hit this time. But it's not over yet. The remaining shooter grunts will fire 10 shots, also against the battlesuits. But they need 5s to hit, and that's an awful lot of misses. Only 1 hit, and it's an AP nothing weapon, so the battlesuits will defend with 3. Let's see if they can do that. Otherwise, 1 more will be taken out. And it's a 3. And final activation is the Prime Warrior. He's no longer pinned. He hasn't done anything but seen his troops do very well this round. The Union commander has left. The sniper drones are eliminated and the battlesuits are under heavy, heavy fire. And the aliens control the mission objective number 2, and they have scored several mission cards this round. They scored 2 victory points for Show No Mercy, and they score 1 victory point for Seize Objective 2, and they also score 2 victory points for Decapitate, for a total of 5 victory points this round. So with a 6-2 victory point lead to the Alien Hives, the 3 mission cards for the final round must really be lucky if the DAO Union has any chance. Bring them down. Destroy an enemy with the aircraft or flying rule. Control objective marker 4. And tactical precision, control any 3 objective markers. Well, let's go to round number 4. The battle suits will activate first, and they will fly over the wall. They have the flying special rule, and they will take control of objective 4. And from this position they can fire at the exposed Prime Warrior with their suit guns and flamers, hitting with rolls of 4. So 1 AP1 suit gun will hit, and 2 flamers. Let's begin with the suit gun. A roll of 5 is needed. 4, so 1 hit against the Prime Warrior, and he will defend one of the flamer shots, but he takes 2 wounds. Now we will see if he can do any bio recovery, otherwise he is taken out. A roll of 5 or 6, and incredibly, the Prime Warrior regenerates both wounds and survives the attack. And now the lonely and apparently still bloodthirsty Hive Warrior will charge the squad of grunts, and he will hit with 2 attacks. And they will defend one of them, but one more soldier is shredded. Now they have a chance to fight back and win this battle. They have 4 close combat attacks. 2 of them will hit. It's AP nothing. The Hive Warrior will defend with rolls of 4. And why even bother? The Warrior shakes it off, and he will win the battle and force the grunts to make a morale test. And they will fail. Things are really turning out the wrong way for the DAO Union at the moment. They are not below half strength, but they still lost the battle, and they can't do anything else this round. They will activate immediately after, and that means they are no longer pinned, but really nothing more to do. And this is where the DAO Union will call this one a day and retreat. They can no longer win this battle. They managed to control objective marker 4 and score 1 more victory point, and the Alien Hives scored tactical precision by controlling the 3 remaining objectives. This will be a major Alien Hive victory, 8-3 victory points. The DAO Union will retreat. Lieutenant Armando must find somewhere else to land his shuttle, and the Alien Hives will stay in control of this area. Thanks a lot for watching this battle report. I hope you'll join me for future bat reps.